Welcome back, everyone, to ABG Investor Days. My name is Henrik Hintze, and I'm an equity research analyst here at ABG. With me now, I have the company Inission, which is a company I cover, and the CEO, Fredrik Berghel. Please go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Fredrik Berghel. I am one of two co-founders of Inission. I started this company together with my business partner, Olle Hulteberg, 15 years ago. I will today try to present our company, which has been, during this autumn, changed profile somewhat. We used to be a pure EMS company, but after taking the control and have the main ownership, and now also being very close to 100% of the OEM company, Enedo. So the new Inission group consists of old EMS Inission and Enedo. So when I refer to Enedo, that will be the OEM portion of this company. Go directly on Inission. We are a contract manufacturer of industrial electronics, and we are in that segment, we are in the high mix low end, meaning that we are running fairly low volumes and quite complicated industrial electronics, complicated products and complicated setups. High mix, low volume end. We are very much a Nordic company, being spread out over Norway, Sweden, Finland, and also in Estonia. We would like to grow further down, but I will get back to our acquisitions thinking. Our customer appreciate our proximity. We like to be close to our customer so that we can have a very close dialogue with them. So if they can come to us with a car in the morning, be with us for a couple of hours, and then go back, they really appreciate that. We are also a total supplier in that sense that we provide services all the way from product development, in prototyping, industrialization, and then, of course, the main focus is the production portion of this. But we also getting more and more customer, what we call infinite, at the end of the life cycle, taking care of spare parts, making sure that things works. For example, now we are running a fantastic order for ABB. We are remaking the nuclear plants, if no one knew about that. And we're making the spare part cards for that. And that is a totally different discussion when it comes to price and things. You know, those types of customer, they value a lot of other things than just price, which is normally, which is really high on the agenda. Of course. Yeah, maybe I should also comment that we have the geographic distribution there, and you see a lot of Sweden, Norway, and so forth, but that is where the invoices are sent. Our products, they are sent out all over the world because our customer are global, multinational companies. Inission is very much an acquisition story, as I said. Me and my business partner started there in Munkfors 15 years ago, acquiring a company that was in deep trouble. So it's like a Chapter 11 case. So that was a turnaround process. And then we discovered that this industry is really fragmented. So one way of growing forward would be to acquire competitors. It's sort of also quite sticky, this industry, in that sense that the customer is not running here and there with the production. Customers change producers, of course, but then it requires that you behave really, really bad, or there are some other movements. So in order to grow, we thought acquiring companies would be one, that is our main strategy of that. And since 2008 then, we have acquired about a company per year, so not super fast, but a decent pace. Before this line here also, we involved ourselves in Incap, and that I think is worth mentioning because I will talk about Enedo shortly. And there are a lot of similarities between Enedo and Incap. Incap was also a real turnaround case. We had the ambition, exactly as what we had with Enedo, to merge these companies. So I was even the CEO of Inission during the turnaround 2013 and 14. And we made that turnaround and really had the ambition to combine Inission with Inga. However, talking to the other main owners, Finnish owner, we never managed to get the relative valuation. They had one idea and we had the other. And now, seeing this in the history, maybe we should have taken their offer. I wouldn't know. So what we did we actually divested that or paid those shares out as a dividend to all the Inission shareholders. Segment-wise, we have those segments, and there are a few there that is really stable and growing moderately. Industry, medtech, ocean technology. They have a growth, but quite moderate. But what we also see now that we have very interesting inquiries from defense customer. And we already have quite a few, both connectivity and electrification customer that is growing really, really rapidly. And we have 38 key accounts, which is the main, make up the bulk of what we are doing. Our largest customer is ABB. So we sell actually to 7 different ABB companies from 5 different factories. So those 10%, they are distributed in a few accounts. And then we also sell a lot of what we're doing is ready-made products. We refer it in the industry to the box built. And that is an enabler to do more value add for the customer, that we can take care of spare parts, we can take care of the aftermarket, we can take care of logistics, send the products direct to customers. Customer in Brazil, for example. And we noted that, me and Olle, that the more we do for our customer, the happier they are, and also the more profitable. So the more value we add in the customer relation, the better for us. So it's always our aim to increase the amount of totally ready-made products that we are doing. Shifting then to Enedo. So Enedo is indifferent to Inission, which is a contract manufacturer. Enedo is an OEM company. They develop their own products. They have their own IPRs. But they have also a lot of similarities because they are also into industrial electronics. They are also into very much customized products, and they are also high-end products, type of customer that Enedo is addressing. So in that sense, it's very, very similar. And also in difference to Inission, that is a Nordic company, Enedo has a more global approach. They have their own sales or sales representatives, more or less, spread out all over the world. And what are they doing then? I'm an engineer myself, I forgot to say that, but from a technical point of view, if you think of something that is charging your mobile or your laptop, that is exactly what Enedo is doing. Power supply, but not simple, cheap consumer products. Complicated, high-end, qualified industrial power supplies. And they divide them in these 3 areas. Power supplies, they're in the middle. That is the core, really. If you combine a few of those and also put the battery package, for example, and make a whole system for that, for a train, for example, or for a steel mill, or for a paper mill. That is power systems. And those 2 categories, that are the Finnish part of this. We have sales and marketing and product development in Finland and in Italy. The Italian portion of this company, they do the power supplies and they also do the LED drivers. And LED drivers is a niche within the power supply that for driving floodlights at sports arenas or concert halls and these sort of things. And also these huge screens that is also used at sports arenas and concerts and that type of things. So that is a special application, but pure technically, it's about reshaping electricity from what you get from the grid to your electronic application. And here is also interesting because all Inission customers, they use power supplies in their products. And a lot of Enedo customers, they source also EMS services. Enedo themselves, for example, they are buying about 15 million euro annually in EMS services here. So here we see a good potential for insourcing now when we have total control of the company within short. You see also the sales distribution per area there, and then EMEA is quite big. However, the sales going into US, we have a few really important US customer in this setup. Their factory is in Asia, in Malaysia, so that's why EMEA here is quite big. I said that there are similarities between Enedo case and Incap, where we've have been involved earlier, and this is a really mismanaged company for many years. We came in Q1 21 and took part of the restructuring there. Financial restructuring, but it's not so much idea to put in new money if you don't change how you do things. So we have replaced a large portion of the board. We have changed the top management. We found a very qualified guy, Mikael Fryklund. He has a history in Trelleborg and Hexpol being available, so he is the new CEO of this group. But also, big other parts of the top management is changed. So what we have done is right sizing of Italy is one big portion here, and I don't know if any of you have tried to do reductions in Italy, but that is extremely complicated, at least compared to Sweden. So it's costly, it's a lot of lawyers, and it takes time. But now it's done. So we have been shrinking from 100 plus to 50 plus now in the Italian operation. They also have their factory in Tunis, as you saw on the map there, and that all the Italians, the head of the factory were Italians sitting in Ancona. And you can't run the factory, not according to my meaning at least, from on the other side of the Mediterranean. So that is another main project that we have done. Actually moving responsibility and brain power from Italy to Tunis. And they don't want to move, so we simply reduce in Italy and hire in Tunis. That is what we are doing. So now Q3 here, we think that the big chunks in this turnaround process, they are done. So now it's more like more on continuous improvement, efficiency, increased capacity, both when it comes to competence among personnel, but also invest in machines, because this company haven't had money for a long time. And if you don't have any money, you don't pay your suppliers, and you can't invest in new machines. So but they sell very well. And when we interview the customer, they are really happy about the products. So by increasing capacity here now, Enedo is fully sold the whole of this year. So when you place a new order at Enedo now, that will be placed in 24. And so now it's about increasing output and increasing capacity at Enedo. The history of Enedo started long time ago. If you are in Finland, there are a lot of things that is connected to Nokia. This was also a Nokia thing. So they started off with power supply for telecom industry since long, and they developed, not super successful. However, later on they changed name, and they realized that this type of volume industrial electronics, it's not for this part of the world anymore. All of that is in Asia. So they shifted, they draw down and divested the telecom part of the business and acquired an Italian company called Roal, and then another Finnish company called PowerNet. So that is the core now of Enedo, these two, Italian and the Finnish company. And that is where they are with their industrial products now. And then we came around as I showed on the last picture, we came around 21, and now we structure this forward. They have, as Inission, I'm really proud of our customer portfolio, but so also with Enedo. They have a fantastic, world-famous brands, super-duper international companies in their customer portfolio. And quite a well-distributed customer portfolio also. And here you see the shares of the various products of what they are doing. So much about Inission and Enedo, and then Something about what is driving the industry. I think we are in a good environment in the sense that we have a really strong underlying growth in this market where we are, industrial electronics produced here in the Nordic region. Varies from analysis to analysis, but 7% is a really good estimate of the growth rate, the underlying growth rate. And there are some mega trends there that is driving this. And you could see them before this COVID disaster and before this war, even more disaster. But those things, they have actually reinforced these mega trends. Clean energy, production coming back from Asia, electrification, Internet of Things. A lot of these things is actually going faster and faster now. So we think Inission, with the setup we have, is really well positioned to take care of those mega trends. And what have also happened the last 1.5 years is that when I started 15 years ago, there was an overcapacity in the market. The big players in Nordic region, they were called Note, Partnertech, Scanfil, Kitron. They never made money over time. They made a good year, and then it was a restructuring bad year, and then it was jumping up like that. Now, factories have been shut down, a lot of mergers has been done, so there are fewer players, less capacity, at the same time as the need has increased. So now we have a balance in the market, and I think that is really interesting to know that it's a totally different discussion we have with the customer today, where we are invited very much more as a partner, helping them out with their production, rather than someone they really need and it's just a thumb in the eye, situation, and push the price down and then maybe you get this order. Now it's a totally different discussion out there. Something about our acquisition thinking. As I said earlier, we really like growth, and we like growth by acquisition, and we have done that continuously. We know how to do it. We know what to look for. We have a good relation with our house banks, so we can finance this the way we think it's feasible. So we will keep on building out Inission step by step. A few years in the future, when Enedo is profitable enough, we think Enedo will also start the same journey, actually acquiring companies. So that will be our target. Now I see I talk too slow anyhow. I'll speed up. Growth is important for Inission, but profitability is even more important. And we have been growing, not super fast, but quite good anyhow. And we have had this EBITDA profit margin level about 5%. Q4 last year, we changed accounting standards from K3 to IFRS. So it has actually shifted around the numbers a little bit. Especially the Enedo case has come out totally different, because in IFRS counting, so they are 3 quarters now. 21 is with Enedo, and of course 4 quarters 22. So it has boosted the sales, especially 21 there. And there are also some impacts, of course, on the balance sheet, pulling in leasing debts there. But we have also been taking care of the profitability growth, I think, decently with this growth speed. So numbers last quarter, I will not read them for you. Good organic growth, both in Enedo and Inission, both in the quarter and both for the year. Sustainability, we were a little bit late here maybe, but we have done it now a couple of years. We have sustainability report in our annual report. We have put up some targets that we follow and that we work with. But I think when it comes to this, one thing is more important than others, and that is carbon dioxide. So here we have put our quite ambitious goal for ourselves, and that is from now to 2025, we will be carbon dioxide neutral. And we are not that far off. because if you would walk into one of our factories, it will look almost like an office. So it's very clean, it's very neat. We use up some electricity for our hours, and we have some transports. So all in all, we are a very environmental friendly type of production, I would say. Rounding up here fast, if you have an hour over, you could go into our web page and look at a little bit longer presentation of this. We had a Capital Market Day, 16th of January. So that is an hour presentation instead of 20 minutes now. And we set forth financial targets that we presented. And they are turnover-wise, very comfortable, profitable-wise. We are absolutely confident that we will reach this level this year. We have some, perhaps a little bit more challenges regarding our balance sheet and the inventory. But we really think we will reach these goals also these goals. Then we also lifted our head a little bit further and looked into the future, 3-4 years. And then we stretched the ambition, perhaps not by growth, because we have been growing very much faster lately. But what we are doing now, that is our ambition is to shift over in the new environment from acquisition growth to organic growth. And we think that really will help our profitability. We have also co-located factories. We have co-organized organizations. So I have 10 factories, but I only have 6 company managers within Inission. So the units now are quite a bit larger. We have also pulled in some resources central to assist and draw out synergies when it comes to sourcing and when it comes to sales. And that we also think will help our profitability. And then it's about continuous improvement, process development. And here I think we have done a tremendous good deal with the best lean consultants, at least in Sweden, part development. So we have a long-term agreement with these people now where we are actually, they are getting half, because they charge quite a bit, these guys, but they are also extremely good. But we pay them half in shares in order to incentivize them hard to really help us out here, because there are a lot to do just by improving processes. Last picture. Inission Group, flexible total supplier, industrial electronics. There is a solid underlying growth in the market. We have a well-proven system for acquisition growth. Historically, we have actually grown our EBITDA with 21% per year since 2015. And we think Inission is really well positioned for this situation where we are now in the market. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Fredrik. Let's move on to some questions.
Yes.
So recently, particularly in 2022, you've seen a really enormous increase in demand in the industry, you could say. How are you working to meet this demand, and how do you think this situation will develop in the coming years?
We saw the demand actually already 21, but we got a big backlog due to the component shortage. So it was not sort of used in increasing square meters and increasing number of employees and machines if you couldn't get hold of components anyhow. So we have been hanging against the component situation. But then that has gradually changed now. So components shortages still there, but to a much less degree, if I can put it like that. 1 year ago, it was like 20-80. Today is more like 80-20 when it comes to pure capacity. So we are now hiring people, we are investing in new machines. We are not building any new square meters because we think we can cope with those we have, but that is what we are doing, yeah.
All right. You mentioned that historically Inission has been a pure EMS company. What drove you to the decision to acquire an OEM company?
We started off as a pure EMS, think note, if you know these people. And then we saw there are contract manufacturing out there. You can also do mechanic contract manufacturing. So we expanded into that area a little bit on a test level, but we have 2 of those factories. And then we also understood if you do development for the customer, if you develop the customer's product, that will also be a link into our production. And having these 3 legs or pillars, then it was quite natural to think, if we develop products for customer A, why don't we use back that knowledge for customer B? So we were thinking of having a platform company. So that was so when Enedo came around, it was a turnaround case, and we were not super fond of that. But Enedo is our platform company. That is how we see it. And there are a lot of crossovers with the contract manufacturing part here.
Mm-hmm. In your new financial targets, you aim to grow 10% organically and 5% through acquisitions. Why did you make the decision to switch focus from acquisition-driven growth to a more organic focused growth?
Growing organically has been a little bit of our Achilles heel, you know. We have not been good at that. Maybe we have not been that good, that is one thing, but also the customer is quite sticky with their production. It's not so easy to get in new customer. So we see now in the new environment that it is, and we get inquiries, we get new customers, we get more job with the customers that we have. So we think it will be more achievable. I mean, if I could just choose, you know, I would be only organically, because that is more profitable to grow only organically. But of course, also then if we want to expand further out geographically, we need to acquire, because we will never start greenfield operations. We will acquire and grow organically. So that's the story. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Fredrik. That's all we have time for. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you.